Hey, welcome back to the channel. Got a little something on the bench here. Gonna do a quick little live stream and then do like a Q&A at the end. Um, just wanting to go the Eleclive digital microscope. I'm not necessarily saying that this is the one that I would buy. I would just say that this is the one that I've found that had kind of the best reviews, and overall things that I've seen about it I liked quite well. So we're just gonna take a look at some of the things that it can do. It can record. There's an SD card that goes in the back of it, so you can record. You can also record not only video, but you can take still shots with it. So it's a pretty neat tool. But for decades, I had been using a linen tester. So this is what I would use to see the to see the components that I needed to see. After owning one of these, I highly recommend it. This is the one that I went with. I have in my description an Amazon store with a link, and in there is all my soldering stuff, so you can find that information. I don't have anything with Amazon filled out, like all the paperwork and stuff that they wanted. It didn't seem worth a penny on a dollar to give them all that information. So I don't receive anything from Amazon, but it's really cool that that store has everything categorized with photos and reviews and all that kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. So let's take a look at this a little bit. I just wanted to show you some of the capabilities in case you don't have one. I would say you might want to get one if you're building drones or working on some of these small components. And then also I'll have like a video. You can actually see the pictures and the video that it takes. So let's check that out. All right, so just kind of got a couple of images of it so you can kind of see some of the features that it might have. It has these auxiliary lights that help illuminate exactly where you're looking at. You can see that the stanchion, I would say you want to get one that can go up quite far. There are some shorter versions of the stem that comes up. I like that the height is high. You can see here in the middle picture, that coin is a pretty large coin. And that's all the way at the top position. So just to give you an idea that it zooms in pretty well, so you can get in there and work with your soldering iron and everything. And then the auxiliary lighting is ran off the battery in the back, so there's a cord that goes with that. And then here you can see some of the components on this board. So this is a Beta FPV all-in-one flight controller. And from the furthest zoomed out position, you can see the components. You can almost see the entire flight controller, and that's all the way up. So the microscope is all the way in the top position. So pretty decent detail if you're looking for something. But now here we are zoomed in. This is with it, you know, focused down on a single component, and you can see in here that you can really zoom in quite well. Obviously, you can go in and find your traces. The auxiliary lights, you can turn them to the side so you can kind of get the light to shine across those traces pretty well. Obviously, you can read stuff, and who doesn't like spiders? Let me go back right here. So you could see these traces all through here. So if you have a popped trace, or you plugged in backwards or something, sometimes you can find these traces and fix them. You can also see if your motor wire connector is broken. So these pins, you'll see a crack all the way around. That's something you won't be able to see just with your eye, or at least I can. And then, of course, the information on your chips that you're looking for. So yeah, it's pretty fun for the kids too. We get to look at some weird bugs. But here's a video of a Super Bee that I fixed. Had an RX loss issue. There's a video on my channel further down that kind of explains the RX issue But this is the video that the device is capturing. And then you can see here, I push in on the processor, the green LED shows up letting me know that it's functioning, and then it goes off. So we need to do some fixing on it. So here it just gives you a good idea that you're able to get your soldering iron, you can get your heat gun in there and work on something. I really don't think that I would be able to do this without it. There's no way that I would be able to reflow a microprocessor on a flight controller without a digital microscope. So what you're seeing here is what the 7-inch display puts out. So works out pretty good. So is there anybody that might have any questions? I'm going to go back to the bench here, and I'm going to show you a couple little things that I made. And then I'll just kind of lay it down in front of the bench so you can kind of see what it looks like in my hands. But as you can tell, it's pretty nice because the camera's up out of the way. Even though I'm able to see so detailed, you can actually see the solder flowing back to the chip. But yet the camera's a good 5 inches away, 4.5 inches away, to where I can get my tools and work. I don't see anybody in chat. I don't know if it's coming through or not. I don't see anybody in chat. Hopefully it's working. So yeah, got it all cleaned up, dried off. I hooked it up to Betaflight, got everything looking good in there. Cleaned the little solder ball off the top there. We're rock and rolling again. How you doing? Bad Mad AFPV. Got here a bit late. Yeah, this is the digital microscope 7-inch. This brand is what I went with. It's on Amazon. It's the one that I researched, and some of the reviews I watched people working on the work surface, so I knew that it would be far enough away I could get in and work on it. But this is in my Amazon store. Now, keep in mind, I don't get any money from Amazon because I refuse to fill out their stupid paperwork. But that storefront that I put together is really cool because it has all the categories, and it's fun to have it all in one spot. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you checking in there. Sometimes I wonder if it's all working. So this is the box that it came in. Let me show it to you real quick. I've got it pretty much in the all the way down position, but this gives you a good idea of how big it is. And then obviously in the upper position, you just scroll this. You can loosen the back here, and that way you can kind of get it started. Turn it up right. And that, oops, got my lens off there. The lens comes off so you can clean it. But you can see here, that's a pretty good amount of space when I had it in the all the way up position. So, that's 8 inches of working space where you can get your hands in there and work on stuff. My filming capabilities, I normally don't work on stuff larger than the workbench on my videos. So, but in the back here, this is the 5-volt output that goes to these auxiliary lights. So that's kind of a nuisance, I'll be honest with you. But I understand they couldn't run it down inside this stem. I don't know, just expense wise. So they just have it's just a USB to USB-C connector. And then that plugs right here in the back. And then that plugs in here. So it is battery operated. The battery lasts for a decent amount of time. I haven't charged it in a while. But this one here is the power supply. And it's just USB. So pretty easy. And then there's a micro USB card right here. And then the menu on the front. I'm not going to really go into like a whole review of this particular device, but I just wanted to show you that there is a light on this, and then also the auxiliary lights. And you have to unplug that, otherwise it'll run your battery down. It's kind of dumb. And then this is something that I use for when I'm flowing solder or working on a flight controller. So I just made like, it's got like a little UMA grip on the bottom, and that way it doesn't move around while I'm working on it. Just some 25 millimeter standoff or 30 millimeter standoffs. So in case you wanted to make yourself one. So I'm happy to say that I have my my Super Bee is ready to go into my next UWL build. So I got my HD0 and my Speedy Bee fix. I'm sorry, I said Speedy Bee. I don't know why I keep saying that. The Super Bee flight controller. Dude, right there. This flight controller was amazing. I was flying just analog on it, and this flight controller has really did a good job for me. And then I was just flying along. I was lining up for the Joker gate, and it just fell out of the air. It just fell right on the floor, and just RX loss is what I seen in the OSD. However, when I went to plug it back in, it was just red light. So found out what the problem was, got her rock and rolling. So I'm gonna get me another UWL build eventually here. Do you guys want to see the hot air station that I used? Might as well show it to you since you've seen it in the video. This is the hot air station. Has a hanger, so when you put it on the hanger, the air cools it off. Has a flow calibration here, so you can get the amount of air coming out of the gun, and then your temperature controls on-off switch. So this is the one that I decided to go with. It's been great, really. I've had no issues at all. Show us all your secrets. This has worked out pretty good. The handheld, the different attachments they give you. I've not really had to use anything more than this one. It's really nice having a flow adjustment on here. To have this flow adjustment, because sometimes you'll get into replacing a ceramic capacitor or something, and you're blowing the chip next to it, so you can kind of turn that down so that you're not moving things around when you're flowing your solder. It's great for heat shrink. Makes short work out of about 35 heat shrink tasks. Sammy, how you doing? Other than that, I was just going to jump on a quick live stream and show the capabilities of that. That thing is really something. That's probably one of the coolest tools, you know. Trying to see why my chat window looks so bizarre. There we go. I think we got it to work there. Chet Mac, how you doing? Yeah, yeah. I was using this linen tester for a long time because back when I got out of high school, I was running printing presses, and this is the tool we used to line up the different colors in the printing on the printing press. And I've just used this forever. And yeah, the digital microscope, I don't even use this anymore. It's so easy because you could just, since it's battery operated, you can just grab it, turn it right on. Super handy. Is that chat window coming through okay? What thickness I need to soldering VTX to flight controller? So I have a video on my channel. It's how to flow solder. Let me show you that real quick. But I'll answer your question. I'm just going to show you this real quick. I kind of compiled like all that I could, if you will, into one video, and I tried to answer as many questions as I could during this video. See if I can find it. So right here, how to flow solder. This video explains all of that stuff. I kind of go through real detailed information and then some close-ups and stuff. But let me show you. So like, here's my tip. Okay. So that's a standard size tip. See if I can answer this question. So like, here's the knife tip. You see that? Let me zoom my camera in real quick. Oops. There we go. We're back. Push the wrong button. All right. So this is like a standard size tip, and then you have a knife edge tip. This is a sharp tip. So you can see that there, it's a legitimate question. And then here's like a wedge, another one of the standard tips. I primarily use the standard tip unless I'm doing XT 60s on the back of your quad. I use the knife, and then I use this wedge for like motors and stuff like that. The rule of thumb, as in my opinion, you want to use the same size iron tip for the pad. If you're doing like super tiny pads, like things on some of these VTXs. Is that your VTX to flight controller? Yeah. Sammy, does that make sense? Having the correct size tip to the size of the pad. Let me grab something real quick. So we're doing an ESC, the XT60 on the back, especially the ground pad, because this whole entire thing is going to suck the heat out of your iron. If you use a small tip, it's going to suck the heat off the tip so fast that the iron can't replace it. And then you got people on YouTube that say, crank that sucker all the way up. No, don't do that. Just use the correct size tip. So this is the same size as the pad. East Coast Thrills, how you doing? Just going to catch up on chat here. TS100. Yeah, I've used the TS100. Like, I've borrowed it from somebody at the field. I don't currently own a mobile soldering iron. My soldering iron that I used for decades, it finally broke, but it's a butane soldering iron. I've been looking at a couple different soldering irons on Amazon. TS100 looks really good, but I don't know. This thing was like $15, and I recently found a company that sells replacement barrels. So once the end of that gets, after a few years, that wears out. So finally found a replacement for that. But I would like to have one just to have it. But I hate to say it, I've been kind of borrowing other people's. This ESC is going into my my next 7-inch iNav build, so I'm kind of excited to get that dude together. It's going to be paired up with the SkyStars F7. You have this same iron with the little dial on it. I'm not seeing that chat is moving along. That's kind of annoying. Doesn't seem like chat. Yeah, there we go. We'll have to check on that. It's kind of strange that the chat window over here is not updating as fast as it is on the... Yeah, so is there any... You guys have any other questions while I'm here? I just wanted to do like the cool tool. I noticed that I don't really see that many people that have one of those microscopes, and it's really, really handy. Polly, how you doing? Today is not a fly day. Today's it's like 100, I don't know, 100-degree index right now. I just can't do it. That's too much for me. Let me see if I can play this again here. Yeah, this is something that I'm seeing a lot of, and I've been talking to a couple manufacturers about it. You see this LED right there I'm pointing at? Watch when I push on the corner of that processor. This is a really, fairly new board. I only got like one race out of it. And then you see it works again. So what's happening is the PCB is so thin that it flexes in the frame and then pops the components loose. And in my opinion, they don't have enough solder on these components. Like on this whole edge in the video, I have a video on this, that it's not dead yet. Let me see if I can show you. And then I showed the reason, in my opinion, of why it's doing that. We're going way back here. But yeah, the chip popped off the board, and I just got RX loss. And then when I went to plug it in, it was dead. But here's the video. Super B's not dead yet. So I go through quite a bit of information. I zoom in on it and explain why I think that's happening. So if you're one of those people that have like 12 of these in a bag, you could probably go in there and diagnose and figure out which component popped loose off the board because they failed to put enough solder on it in the first place. Now, obviously, if you smack it into a wall or something, that's another thing. But jump back over here. Catch up on chat here. I'll go and check the new AR beta FPV. Yeah, check on those components and make sure they're not pop loose. Further dimensions on the scope, wondering if it would fit my bench. Yeah, let me grab it real quick. Uno wants to know. Let me zoom out real quick. Yeah, one day I'll have like, some amazing filming capabilities, but for now, kind of get on a shoestring budget and you can do what you can. So Uno wants to know the dimensions of this dude. Let me grab my measuring tape if I can get my slid underneath my bench. So yeah, it's 8 inches front to rear. There is a plug that goes in the back here. So that's going to extend your 8 inches out quite a bit to 10 inches. So that's, if you were to give it a little bit of bend without damaging it. I kind of wish they would have went straight down in because you can't lower that far enough to damage it. So I'm not sure why they stuck it in there instead of in here. Plugged in. And that's about 4 3/4 wide, and nothing really protrudes off the sides. The top screen total dimensions about 7 inches. Any other, Uno, is there any other dimensions you want to see size wise on that? Bought my drone to fly at work today. I got my ELRS Nano to attach to my Tango controller. No fly. Polly, that's terrible. I hate when I do that. I was running this Diamond quad. The Diamond, Happy model quit updating the ELRS on this. I'm not sure if they've done anything since, but I had to run 2 modules. And it just aggravated me that would happen to me. I'd leave that other module. I couldn't fly my Diamond quad. I left my LiPo sitting on the kitchen table one time. I drove about 45, 50 minutes out of town to meet up with somebody that's never flown with anybody. I forgot my LiPos. And of course they were 6S, so I'm 4S on my rigs. Called the wife. She's like, yep, they're sitting right here on the table. Hey, thanks, East Coast. I appreciate that. The pretty little trees. Yeah, the Bob Ross. I've been called that quite a few times, actually. There's been a handful of times somebody said, yeah, that I thought so too, because that stem in the back sticks up so far. I guess I can give you the total height of it. So yeah, it's a good 12. 13 inches tall, which you can't. But the cool thing is this articulates. So if you need to, you can move it back and forth to get angle shots. And then also the screen articulates. That was the other thing that made me like this one, because if I'm kind of tall, I'm 6'4", so I sometimes, I don't want to have to lean down or kneel down on the floor or something. So at least it articulates so I can look at it properly without hurting myself. And then of course it swivels side to side so you can capture whatever. And there's a little locking ring right here, which I don't usually mess with that. Normally I just grab it like that, set it down, and look at what I need to, and then put it away. What is the best 3.5-inch drone to get for the HD goggles? HD 0 or HD DJI? 3.5-inch. I don't mess with any 3.5-inch. I run 3-inch. This is my favorite, is 3-incher. I would say that this one could possibly take an HD 0. I don't own any freestyle HD 0s. This is a 20x20 mounting. Wow, I just noticed something here. I'm missing an ESC screw. Glad I looked at that. That'd have been a bummer. I need to go check the screws on that thing. Imagine I'm out there flying, your ESC pops out. Yeah, I don't have any 3.5-inch frames, but I tell you what, the reason why, this is my favorite, is 3-incher. Okay, this thing has just been something else. I built this in, I bought a bind and fly. I think it was 2018 or 19, and it was the eSheen ER 349, which was just an absolute screaming, super fun 3-inch quad. But I broke the frame like the first day I flew it. And I went through a couple different 3-inch frames, and this is the frame that I ended up going with. I really like this frame. I bought 3 of them thinking, I'll have a replacement parts that way. So when I break it, I'll have another frame. I don't have to wait. I've never used the other frames. I mean, knock on wood. And it's just as stiff as it's ever been. And I have beat the snot. I've went through, I don't know how many cameras on this. Obviously the camera can go further back in. I just have it out so it doesn't capture so much of the stuff. The reason why I haven't done anything with 3-inchers is because for the last year and a half, maybe, I've been really perfecting this super duper mega ultralight. 244 gram all up, 5-inch, just a ripper. So that's why I don't, I fly this for like jungle gyms and small spaces, and then this dude goes wherever I want. Yeah, this I think this frame would work out because it's 20x20, but you can see inside it's pretty tight. The ESCs overlapping the flight controller. Can I tell you a little secret? If you don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody this secret. But Diatone and eSheen had something going on. So they had the eSheen ER 349, and then like a year later, Diatone came out with the GT 349, and then shortly after they came out with the GT 369. So you had a 4S version, and then you had a 6S version. The one interesting thing is that they changed the ESC, and it really bugged me that they did that. This is the original ER 349, has a 32-bit ESC in it. And if you look at the other ones, they're an 8-bit ESC, but they didn't say anything. They just listed it, but people reviewed that GT 349 with the 32-bit ESC in it, and it was amazing, and all the reviews were outstanding. And then they started selling it with the 8-bit ESC, which obviously now with BL Heli 32 done, maybe it's not such a bad thing. It's pretty amazing how many times the guts of this quad motors and everything have been in different frames. Hot summer in Central Florida. Yeah, I can't even stand. I visited Florida in July. Wow, was that a mistake? I'll never do that again. I'm from the north. I don't do heat. The Census Pro, is the Census Pro like a 75 millimeter bind and fly whoop, like the Baby Hawk or something? Census Pro, that's Beta FPV's version of the Emax Tiny Hawk, right? GT349 was so much fun. Yeah, great little ripper. Could run 3S if you wanted to go slow. That was interesting. These motors, these are the original motors. I got a hold of Diatone and I begged them to make these motors again. And they told me that the company that made these motors for them went out of business. So these motors are unobtainable. Um, if anybody wants to send me one, just let me know. Because I use them on my Super Duper. These motors are something else. Pretty amazing. Yeah, and it did the GT349. Yeah, you could put a 3S lipo in it and just slow rolling. My favorites are the 4-inch long range with the DJI area in it. Fly in the city, so lots of interference. So yeah, that's something else. I've just been kind of recently been dabbing into the DJI thing. Very, very fortunate. Um, a subscriber gave me the goggles and the Vistas, and appreciate that very much. So I finally got a chance to fly DJI, and it's ruined me. I don't even want to. I don't even want to fly my analog rig now. My analog is really, really good, but man, the penetration to get through trees and buildings and stuff like that is pretty awesome. Yeah, the starter kit. Yep. Yeah, 3-inch would be a pretty good step. Something like this. Um, I don't know if HD0 Freestyle VTX would fit in here. I have a 20 by 20 in here. Um, this is slam though. You can see this is the whole point was I want the prop line at so I want the weight of the battery above and I want the quad weight below so it kind of evens out. I did the same thing with my 7-incher. So my 7-inch is slam deck too. So the prop line is exactly um, at the battery line. So this quad weighs a little bit more than the 2200 5S that I put on it, but it's just so balanced. So probably could fit something in there because you could use bigger standoffs. But I really like this frame. On my channel, I've got a link of that if you're interested. Unless you're definitely going 3.5. Yeah, the Crux 35. I've seen it fly around, but I've never had a chance to fly it. How you doing, Ram? John? Looks like we had some people jump in here. Is everybody got your notification bells on? Because I've been throwing a live stream out there just like all of a sudden. Uh, Pretty random. I don't know. I guess if I have like just a little downtime right now, everybody's kind of taking a nap. The heat has been something else. So I'm like, hey, I'll do a live stream because I don't sleep. I'm just catching up on chat here. Grind Arena. Yeah, I seen that that frame. I can't remember who was showing it though. You lost it, Polly lost it in the lake after you fixed it. That sucks. Yeah, the vista, the penetration through trees and buildings is just bonkers with that vista. HD0 can't. Analog gets real sketch for sure. Hunters have gotten really pricey. I don't East Coast. I don't formal coat anything because I'm a tinkerer. I probably tinker more than I fly. I can't stand having to scratch all that off the pads. So no, I haven't conformal. I have thought about it. Um, I I watch Andy RC a lot, and you know he over there. I don't know in the UK there's a lot of rain or something. Uh, but they were flying in the rain, and I was so jealous. I'm like, I want to fly in the rain, but then I never did. I appreciate that, John. Yeah, you had a conformal coated Vista, and it overheated. Yeah, 103 degrees. That's like today. It's like a 100-degree index out there right now. Uh, I'm not flying in that. I'll fly in the cold more than I'll fly in the heat. Yeah, that's where I seen the grind arena. Oh my God, I tell you what, I remember when he first came out with that frame for the split cameras, and I was gonna get one. I can't remember the name of it. Umagod came out with it. Kind of had the I ain't even gonna say the name of it. The catalyst machine kind of had something similar afterwards. You live in South Florida, 5 minutes away from the beach. I don't know if I want to be jealous or not. I think if I had like the money to have a pool, I'd be in that right now. 110 degrees heat lately. There's no way. I don't care how dry it is. I mean, doesn't your motors get like super hot? Like you racing in that temperature? Yeah, I finally got ELRS. I won a gift certificate to 533's website, and it was a $100 gift card. So like a big thumbs up for that. They gave the gift card as a prize for the United States Air Force Museum race, and I blew it all on ELRS receivers and finally got all the FR Sky. This is my only FR Sky quad that I fly right now, but I can do that with the multi-module. I'm not touching that thing. I I'm just not gonna do it. That thing is absolutely amazing to fly the way it is. I'm not touching it. It's got like Beta Flight 322 or something on it. It's not gonna. I'm not touching it. but you could drive 30 minutes and it'll be in the 60s, like up in the mountains. Until I have or easy. Still getting these. So you're waiting till your RAM, you're waiting on ELRS. ELRS is pretty amazing. I mean, I can update all of my quads in like minutes. It's super nice. But there's some steps that you have to do to kind of get to know the process. And if you do those steps in order, everything's fine. If you do them out of order, you skip one, it's bad. Hey, Ram, I'm just letting you know that my kids watched the live stream. So there's a notification that came up. I'm just letting you know that I'm. Yeah, wait for budgets. Maybe there'll be like a cool package. I like some of the starter packages where they have like well, just noticed my fuse get it plugged in real quick. Be a bummer to have the live stream end because my computer died. Oh, that's weird. Sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties. So, John, you only started using ELRS this year? Oh, going from Spectrum to ELRS, that you gotta feel that. Like that's a significant difference in packet rate. Like Spectrum is 96 at best, like with no interference, RF noise, or multipathing. It's like 96 packet rate versus 500 or 1,000. I mean that you must have to feel that right off the bat. FR Sky I think is like 120. I know I felt it with the race quads. Not so much this. Some of the flow cruisy style, I really didn't feel it that much. But something like this that's just insane. Like this is like walking a high wire. The one small movement, it's all over. I think that's why I like it so much. It scares me. But with ELRS, I could notice that when I was banking and, just like really tight against a tree or something, with FR Sky, you kind of get that, you'd move more than you wanted. And with the ELRS, it was just so smooth. You could hang that just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just a feeling, right? Been running 250. You know, watching a live stream with the ELRS devs, and they said 250 was just the right. I'm running 250 on this one. I think now I was running 500 on it, but I noticed that my range wasn't as good because of the size and weight that I'm trying to make sure I'm under 250. I'm using the EP1 receiver because it's so tiny. It literally fits right behind the camera. It's so small. I just wasn't getting the range out of it, and then I was having a lot of telemetry errors. So yeah, I switched that one to 250 hertz. Wow, 35 drones in the air at once. So you guys aren't doing you're not doing FPV. That's the only thing about FPV, freestyle events and stuff like that. You kind of got to coordinate the channels to make sure people don't get plugged in on. If you don't do channel management, the event's not really all that fun. Yeah, the inputs feel more crisp. That's a good way to put it. Feel a little more crisp. Yeah, instead of going 1, 5, 10, 15, it's like 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, the Radio Master, so the RP1, I just installed a handful of them for a good friend of mine. And so, did you guys see my last live stream? I was talking about the zip folder that you get from 332 ELRS. Need to make sure that stays a compressed file when you go to update it. I didn't know that. I unpacked it like you should, right? It messed everything up. Looks like I'm not sure why that does that. It looks like live stream just like takes forever to catch up. Uh, the chat window here doesn't seem to catch up as fast as it should, in my opinion. Just looking here, reading the chat, catching up here. You downloaded Betaflight so you could troubleshoot FPV issue. Are you're troubleshooting something now? Cool cat. Yeah, I wouldn't assume it reads the zip either. I mean, I can't tell you how many trips I made across town to get my homie hooked up, and all of the issues stemmed from the fact that I unpacked that stupid folder. Yeah, you want to use that. Oh, that's the other thing. Ran into another issue I mentioned on the live stream last time that um, Windows has an extension that will automatically unpack a compressed file for you. Make sure that's turned off because that will mess you up. It'll say like Radio Master RX bin, dot bin file, right? So dot bin, but you'll see like EZ or something like that. Unbeknownst to me, that there's that program that can automatically unpack it for you. Cool cat. I appreciate you. Yeah, it looks to me like I don't know why, but I think my live stream is going to crash out because my battery is dying on my computer. And I'm not sure why. Oh, that's smart. I just figured it out. One of the kids was using the power cord for something else and didn't push it in all the way. How silly. All right, back to chat here. So I appreciate you being part of the Propsoff family, cool cat. Are you able to display Betaflight on the stream? Yeah. bear with me 1 second because I have to close everything and open everything. Is that beta flight up? Oh, you know what? I think you're right, John. Let me look at that real quick. I forgot about that. There. See if that works. All right, so we're in the beta flight. Cool Cat has a question. Dusty had some tech issues with the FPV drone. Super busy, work hard, dude. Fly. Shiz and giggles. Yeah, I appreciate that, John. Hopefully that'll work on the top chat deal. The logical process of discovering if the drone is props in or out, then checking motor direction. Yeah. Let me plug in a flight controller real quick. We'll use the one I just had out, I think. Actually, I might have a damaged one I'll use. Yeah, here's one that's got a dead short. See if it'll access. My old crossboard. Bear with me 1 second. I gotta plug this dude in. Grab like 3 flight controllers off the bench over here, and they're all something wrong with every one of them. Might be the cord. And unfortunately, that one's dead too. Got a whole pile of dead flight controllers over here. Oops. Not sure why that's not connecting. Might have too many things plugged into this computer. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. Not sure why Betaflight configurator is not working. Might have too many things plugged into the same thing. I don't know. There we go. That's weird. So I can't use that USB on that side, but I can use the USB on the other side. Very strange. Okay. That took way too long for me to figure that out. All right, so let's see here. Maybe you can help me with this. So if you go into the Betaflight, you connect to your flight controller, and you go into the motors tab. You see right here in the top left corner, right here's the direction that the Betaflight thinks that your motors are supposed to turn. So they've made things pretty nice that you can go in and reorder your motors, but you need to make sure that this is in this configuration right now. It's props out, so the props are spinning out. Imagine the camera is your head, so the props are spinning out away from you. Okay. Props in would be the props would be spinning towards the camera. So that's props in and out. So motor direction is reversed. So this reversal of the motor direction changes the arrows. See how I can change the arrows? So this is props out. And that's the direction your props should be put on your quadcopter. Before you put the props on, choose whether you're in or out, and then reorder your motors, and then each one will spin, and then you'll click on the wizard to tell it which motor it is, and then motor direction to make sure that it matches this diagram. If your props are placed wrong or you don't have this correct, then it ain't gonna work out. That'll be flipping around on the floor. Does that answer your question? Oh well, I got a lot of catching up to do here. Explain how you can tell which way the prop should be. Put the props on while the trailing edge moving into the airflow. All right, remember West, I probably missed you. Have a good weekend. East Coast. I'm just reading chat. There's quite a bit happening between now and then. Charles first find out your drone's props in or out. Yeah, then go from there. That's good advice. Yeah. Put put paper in your props. Yeah, that's looking at how you let me see things you bias. Let's see what I need. Okay, good. Answer your question. That was the other thing. Ram said put a piece of paper. I actually take I have this plastic here. So when I spin the motor on my quad or something, I just put this straight to it, you know what I mean? And then if the motor's, you know, lets me know which way, because sometimes they spin so quick you can't really see them. Smaller motors, anyway. The bigger ones, I just feel on the edge of them. MFR FPV, what's up? Unable to connect to flight controller. East Coast, what connect all it does, no matter. Is that a question to me? Try blowing in the cartridge. Yeah, it was just trying to plug in. I mean, I had all these flight controllers I was trying to plug into to show beta flight, and I guess you can't plug there's a USB on the side of my computer that's not working or ain't gonna work while I'm running all this other stuff. So I finally found a USB drive that worked. Off access. I appreciate that. Thank you. Cool little mustache. Yeah, MFR. He's always making fun of me saying I'm the Wilson of FPV. So I don't show my face to camera. It'd probably be more entertaining than sitting here looking at stuff on my bench. But I'm trying to read chat and what else is there to look at? It is what it is, right? Yep. Yeah, we all start somewhere, East Coast. But this is probably one of the most cumbersome hobbies because of how fast it moved. I think any other hobby, there's kind of an outline or a set of, this is the expectations. But in this hobby, so many people have been involved in making it awesome, and it's happened over. I mean, I got into drones around 2012, and I just watched so many people get involved, and push the hobby. But with that, growing pains is trying to learn everything. It's like, oh, you can't, these two things aren't compatible anymore because they had to leave it behind. And then if you're new and you're reading stuff or you're watching older content, you get misled. So it is frustrating when you're new. MFR, I tell you what, man, it's 100 degrees. I'm headed there here. And just actually, this live stream went a lot longer than I thought it was gonna. But we're having fun. Yeah, I'm about to take off here shortly. Thanks, Off Access. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it is an amazing hobby. Best hobby ever. It's too much fun. Chat window still isn't updating. I don't think. I'll just I'll see that, and my screen is kind of small, so it's hard to tell if yeah, okay, it's catching up. I'll just make sure I put that in there to make sure that it was moving along. I can't see the computer screen that well. It's too small. Well, um, anyone have any questions for me? Because I am gonna wrap up, and there's a Good Guys car shows in town. Probably one of the world's largest hot rod shows. So I'm gonna go take part in those festivities. But I'm totally willing to answer a question if you have one. All right. Well, I don't see any questions. I know I'm on like an 8 second. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, a 7 or 8 second lag. Um, so all right, yeah. Y'all have a great one. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out and checking out the live stream. And I'm thinking I'm getting a little bit better at it. So maybe I'll not take as long to do certain things in between. So, but always the beginning of my live stream, I'll have the content, the actual information that I want to cover, and then hang out after that. So you can always look forward to all my live streams. I'm going to try to structure them where the important goobly gob is right in the beginning, and after that, it's up to you to hang out and see what people say or want to know. So, but I appreciate you stopping by. You all have a great weekend. Be safe and enjoy the breeze.